call to order the Properties Environment and Economic Development Committee. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hardy?
Here.
Mr. Banks?
Here.
Mr. McCormick?
Here.
Mr. Erickson?
Here.
Mr. Walker?
Here.
Approval of the minutes of April 24th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second. Hardy. Motion made by Beggs, seconded by Hardy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Would there be any changes to our agenda for today? Would anyone have any changes for their agenda? Hearing none, we'll look for approval of the agenda as written.
So moved. Walker.
Support.
Moved by Walker, supported by McCormick. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Any public comment, Mr. McKean?
Not at this time.
Hearing no public comment. Oh, Ms. LaPointe.
So the only thing that Tracy has is the reference checks. I think everybody has a copy of how those went. That's all she has as far as that. Does anybody have any questions about the references and the calls that were made?
Looks like those are all pretty favorable for all three companies.
Mr. Erickson,
Yes, Mr. Walker.
after reading the reference checks and everything that was done and looking at the amount, I think that it would be worthwhile for the county to move forward with Majestic Maids and finish up the negotiation for a contract with them.
Marvelous Maids.
Pardon me?
Marvelous.
Marvelous Maids.
Marvelous minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Should we make that a formal?
I open that up for discussion.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
This process where those bids were tabulated and brought to us all in the format that was, sure made it a lot easier than us to try to flip through all of them and look at them.
Yes, it did.
And then after the backgrounds were done.
Very good. Let's take that up later. Mr. McKean.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Several weeks ago at the commissioners meeting, we had the supervisor of transportation for the AOC.
Council on Aging.
Yeah, thank you, not AOC, wrong place. Council on Aging. And they made me aware of an opportunity that county parks could possibly get into a very nice van. So in your packet, the description of what Lisa had sent me. It's a 2002 Ford E350 Super Duty. It's 12 passenger, and it's called a turtle top van. There's 74,000 miles on it. There's a lot of work that's been done. They keep it up to high standards because passengers are being hauled in it. Lately, a group of folks from the organization have been using it to go on a kayak trip. I think they call them the Mermaids. And twice a year they take the bus out with a trailer. So it has a really nice new reach hitch on the back of it. It would be ideal, we think, to support parks going forward. So Pete Lundborg and myself looked at it. We did not drive it, but we started it up in the parking lot. And we came back to the county commissioner, or the parks commissioners, and the parks commissioners voted 5 in favor and 3 against to purchase this van. In talking to Tracy Biard, she said that it's really not the obligation of county parks to buy this van. It's actually the county commissioners that would be responsible for this. So as I understand it, they're asking for $6,000 for this van. I talked to some of the fellows down at Meyer Chevrolet. Jeremy said that this van is probably worth between, they were gonna retail it out on the market with the 2012 mile, or year on it and mileage, it would be probably 13 to 16,000 what it would be sold for. They have talked to Kurt out at the county airport. Kurt said it could be housed out there. It would be an ideal opportunity for county parks to have this van to go forward on future projects in the years going by. So what we're asking for is consideration, pass this around. Consideration to have the county purchase this. Obviously it can be used by anybody in the county that has authority to do that. And we believe it's a good investment in the future for county parks. So one of the projects that's going to be coming up next year, maybe even late this year, is the build out of Black Lake on the south trail. We've established there's actually over 1,000 pieces of 2x12 by 4 foot that were donated to the county that are housed out at the airport facility that we have out there. And they've been picked up and moved by board members with a trailer and their pickup trucks. There's a lot of material that's gonna have to go out to the site as time goes on. We would use this, not a lot, but it could be used in reference to keeping all of our equipment and tools in this one place for projects like this. So additional purchase of saws and equipment that could be used for construction purposes, this would be an ideal place to keep everything in one secure place. Any questions?
Yeah, and you know, we did discuss it at Parks quite a bit, and the amount of time and effort that Pete Lundberg has taken out at Cedar Point, with driving to the airport and getting the tools and going back and forth and having tools on site and all the volunteer labor that we've done, we felt that, you know, it would be good if we did have a large toolbox, a mobile toolbox that would take all the equipment to a site such as Black Lake. You know, in the future, we would be able to have all that in one place at one time, secured for the night or the overnights that we have that there. It's a big build that Gary brings up out at Black Lake. It's going to take hundreds of volunteer hours in order to create this boardwalk that'll go around the south side. But you know, these opportunities don't come by very often. I was hoping it would be just more like a reasonable purchase with $6,000 is, but I'm in favor of securing this van for parks, that we might consolidate all of our tools and equipment in one place, that our volunteers would be driving a van that's owned by the county, insured by the county, and we wouldn't have the liability of volunteers utilizing their vehicles, their trailers for county business. You know, we just got a potential there where it might be, a lot of lumber was hauled. Eric Bengston and Joel Michelson had gone down and retrieved all of this lumber, a large amount of lumber that's coming back to build the boardwalk out. So I felt that with the dollars involved, in order to do something like this, we could eliminate any liabilities and we could do good things for the park going forward.
I've asked Tracy to look into insurance on this vehicle, who could drive it. She talked to the insurance company, and they said if we're appointed by your authority, we would have access to drive this vehicle and be covered. So, it was a comment or a question that came up. We did ask the Council on Aging if they could lower the price. I have a hard time. At $6,000, how far down can you go? You know, $1, it could be. But what they've done is they've actually put the $6,000 sale into their budget. I know of one other party in the county that's interested in the van. If we're not gonna buy it, they probably will. Another Parks township. And yeah, so it's an opportunity. If we want to do this, we could do it.
Sure. I can just speak to the van. My company services Council on Aging vehicles. They do a good job of, as you can see, keeping up on maintenance and repairs. So you're not gonna find a van that's nicer or better maintained than what this is. They're very diligent. If there's an issue, if there's maintenance, it's done. And 74,000 miles on this particular vehicle is nothing. I personally own a 2004 that's essentially the same thing, and it's got 300,000 miles, other than the rust that's now taken over. But
This has a little spot of rust on it, but it's very minimal. It's in really nice shape.
does this one have a wheelchair lift?
This one does not.
Okay.
So in your packet, there is a 2017 E350 Cutaway that does have a wheelchair lift on it. In talking to Lisa, we found that you have to have a commercial vehicle license to drive that. The E350 allows the regular, normal license, Michigan license to drive that out. So would it be nice to have a wheelchair lift and you could lift a lawnmower into it? That would be great. But having the equipment or having the facility to have the next chauffeur's license to do that would be more difficult, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Walker.
I have one passive concern, and if we are using this trailer for construction and doing that, or this van, I'm sorry, for construction and doing that, and I understand the cost is, very good on it. Any tools or personal items that people own themselves that are doing the work are probably not gonna be covered by our insurance if something should happen. Tim, do you have any thoughts on that? I don't think they'll cover it.
Don't think so if they're not. county
Just so
property.
we're aware of that, but don't, and the thought is, don't leave your stuff stored in the van, unless everything's secured.
Yeah, I think that might come out of the homeowner's insurance.
Theirs, but not ours.
Well, and if you only knew how many personal tools are involved right now, just ask Gary. This van will be full of.
Well, and if you're storing it at the airport, you've already got a secure facility.
And I think most.
The only reason I mention it is because if it does come up,
Yep, well,
Did
give me a heads up.
Everybody that works in parks on a volunteer basis, which is what we are, knows that when you use your personal tools, they could be lost, somebody could take them. But generally, what goes out with Pete one day, or out with me one day, or Joel, comes back that same day. We use that equipment. It's our equipment. So I've personally, in the last couple of years, I've hit a couple Milwaukee drills that have given up the ghost. I've gone through probably 5 or 6 batteries that I bought and put into the pile. So it's a cost of doing business. We understand that, and we like doing it. So if we were to bill all of the tools that we're using in parks, chainsaws, come along, all sorts of different things, we would have probably $10,000 to $15,000 worth of tools. I would bet.
If it's time for us to have a van for the parks department or have a vehicle, this is the one to buy.
I concur. Sorry.
And also, with the hitch on the back, if we we've been given lawnmower, we've been given other equipment that could be readily hauled with this also. Not that we have an employee at this point in time, but, with the work that's going on at Crystal Valley, and then you've got Black Lake, and if we were to do anything in Ferry, we've got a large radius that we have to operate on. And the volunteer hours now have been mainly spent at Cedar Point, and it's been pretty much Pete Lundberg. This would simplify a lot of things if everything were there. And as we go forward with the sheriff's sales on hand tools and things like we've gotten in the past, I hope we have a collection of tools in this van and a decent trailer that we can service our parks.
I think it's a good.
Mr. Erickson? Jessica, has there been any discussion in the administrator's office on what fund this would come from?
There has not been, but she does have a note that if you do decide to approve that, you'll have to make sure you approve additional funding for maintenance vehicle.
Well, we can do for maintenance and for fuel. So if we're going to do this, I don't know if we can do vehicles out of capital improvement. But if we can do the vehicle out of capital improvement, I would suggest that that's what we do with that. And then we do, let's just say $3,000 for fuel and, maintenance out of, unallocated. We can't, I don't think we can do fuel and maintenance not from capital improvement. So if that's acceptable, if we decide to do that, let's use those two funds to,
In conversation with the administrator,
pardon me?
go ahead.
No, did Tracy?
I had conversation with, Ms. Viard about this, and she suggested it's called the 101 fund, the general fund.
So it's gonna come out of the general fund unallocated?
Right.
For all of it? If that's what was suggested, then that's what we'll do.
I think it's a real move forward for Parks. I really do. And honestly, I felt when this opportunity came up, that vehicle's already been purchased by the taxpayer and by a millage and by our council on aging. And, you know, granted, it's already been in their budget to receive some funds from it if they were to put it out on a bid basis. So,
Yes, thank you.
and there's someone standing right behind us wanting the dam. But I don't really feel we need to let it go. We've got parks to maintain, and I think it's real important that our volunteers are able to work more efficiently too. Pete's not getting any younger, Gary, I'm not getting any younger. You know, Joel has been a workhorse, and if you've been out to Cedar Point to look at that boardwalk and those stairways down to the water, you'll see the kind of effort that's been made in parks.
Mr. Erickson, the break between our meetings, you have this as a resolution for the regular board meeting. Would you get the wording and the accounts that we're gonna do this from Jessica? So we have, so we do it right if we bring that up to vote at the regular meeting.
Thank you, sir.